Hello, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Code Rhetoric with Tam Talk. Again, I am becoming comfortable with having these conversations with you all to speak about some of the things in coding. Of course, it's a little different from a typical, educational coding video via YouTube, but I want to kind of talk to you, make it more personable as it relates to the coding industry and why I guess decided to leave coding altogether. Let's see here. Give me 1 second because I'm making these brownies. 1 second. So, for those of you who know, again, I hate to keep saying, speaking up on my credentials or stating how long I've been in the coding industry. Of course, I've been in it for a very, very long time. And so I've been through the whole ICD-10 transition, probably even the CPT code transition or implementation. So I've been in it for a very, very long time. And some of the things that I noticed, so I almost say I noticed, but I noticed a change in coding. And so some good, some bad, but for the most part, it is good. So one of the things that I used to tell my coaching clients is, and I really want to speak on this because I'm going to be all over the place actually with this video. So one of the things that I want to talk about, or one of the things that I would tell my coaching clients when it comes to coding, that the coding industry, although it is big, it is also very small. And what I mean by it is very small. Be mindful of who you talk about, because again, the coding industry is a very small industry, and I'm just going to use, well, we'll see. It is a very small industry, and okay, so as I was stating, the medical coding industry is very small, and it was very small when I was sharing this information with my clients. Again, especially when you're in the process of looking for a job or a coding role, it is important that you don't take information from maybe your negative or poor experience with another, I would say, coding manager, director, and then you bring it to another or a new coding manager, director, or someone in a hiring capacity, again, because you don't know if those individuals know each other. And again, when I was sharing this information with my clients, this was I would say, social media. This was all this upgrades to technology, that it is important that you not gossip about, another or poor experience with another coding, I'll say, manager, leadership, someone in a higher capacity, again, because you don't know how those individuals know each other, or if they know each other at all. So again, so that was pre-technology, or the heightened of technology. And so now that we're in where it's like we have access to pretty much anything into everybody, and people are connecting, especially again those in a particular industry, just like you have like the legal community, you have the medical community, you have IT, and so on and so on. The same is true with coding. You don't know who knows who in that particular industry, and thanks to platforms such as LinkedIn, they are even more so connected. And so what you don't want to do, I keep saying this, is you want to be mindful of how you communicate with individuals. And so it's one thing to have technical skills as it relates to coding, because yes, you must have the technical skills to actually perform coding, but you want to make sure you have soft skills, and with some would say personality, and you are who you are. I get it, because I can't change myself. I am who I am. But you want to make sure your soft skills are not the thing that is preventing you from getting or securing a coding role. And so, and I say that because you may have the soft skills as well. I'm actually pouring my brownie mix here, excuse me. You may have the soft skills, or you may have, you may be a decent person, but again, as with any industry, sometimes it can become very cliquish. It's all about who you know, not so much about what you know, but we in order for us to even to compete in this industry, we have to know what we know. But it's also about who you know. You have to know people, right? And sometimes they may deem you as a bad fit or not a fit for the team or what have you. And then you have the coding assessments that may hinder you from, doing well or getting hired, because sometimes people suffer from, Lord, y'all, I know how to make brownies. I don't know what I'm doing here. But sometimes it could hinder us from, we develop test anxiety, and I have developed test anxiety as well. So I say all that to say is you have to be very, very careful with how you communicate, or how you communicate, and with whom you communicate your negative experiences with, especially again as it relates to this particular industry, because again, you don't know who knows who. And unfortunately, this is where we are as it relates to interacting or networking. This is considered one of those soft skills. I mean, with private messages, group chats, you don't know if there's a group chat of those individuals, such as those hiring managers or hiring directors. You don't know what's taking place offline. You don't know what's taking place in these individuals' personal lives. And I'm not saying that to put fear or worry into your psyche, but these are things you want to consider when you are applying for a coding role. And you may say, well, they live in a different state. That doesn't necessarily mean anything, because I know individuals in different states. I used to live in a state, and I live in a different state. I know people in the old state. I know people in the new state, and I know, again, people in other states, because as a remote coder or a contract or consultant, you meet people and you work on projects in various states. So, and as well as various organizations. So again, you meet people. So this taps into that soft skill. Again, we talk about technical skills, which is of course knowing how to actually code and securing your certification, but we never really focus on the soft skills. It could be soft skills like your communication skills. Soft skills also represent your written skills. Soft skills represent, are you a team player, such as like time management, things of that nature. So all of those things are considered when you're applying for a coding role, and these are the decisions that an employer have to make. Like, are you a good fit? This is what they mean when they say, are you a good fit? Are you a team player? Perhaps that particular team or coding team or organization is looking for a specific thing. Like, are you an innovator, right? For prime example, I was watching a YouTube video, and it was something humorous, and this guy was saying how he used a pot on a hot stove to iron off his shirt for an interview, and it worked because he, was able to either secure the job or go to the next level in his interview. So that was innovation. Sometimes organizations are looking for someone with a mindset of innovation, someone who can think outside the box to bring about results, but of course keep it legal. And so that may be something that an organization or coding team or coding department is looking for. What can you bring to the table? And then also, you won't know that, right? So this is where when you are on an interview, and an employer or a manager asks if you have any questions, perhaps that could be a question that you can pose to the interviewer. Is like, what are you looking for? What is it that you're looking for your team, to make your team successful, to make your team work, to make whatever it is your goals work. Some may say, okay, they're looking for someone, a self-starter. They may be looking for someone with some excellent time management skills. They may be looking for someone with some innovative ideas, mindset, right? So these are things that you can take into consideration. Again, pose as questions to your potential employer, your hiring partner. But again, I say all that to say I'm actually done pouring, mixing my brownies. I'm getting ready to bake them. But what I want to say is, again, consider all of those things when you are applying for a job. But most importantly, you have to be mindful of keeping your negative experiences from another, I would say, hiring or coding manager or director, and sharing it with another coding manager or director, because you don't know if those individuals have something in common or they know each other. You just don't know. And again, you're thinking that the industry is very big, but the industry is also very, very small. And again, because technology has advanced, the world or the networking, the communication is even smaller. So I cannot reiterate that enough. I cannot reiterate that enough. For example, for someone like me, I may shut you down before you get started to speak negatively of someone, but some may perhaps allow you to continue the conversation, not sharing with you that they know that individual. And then once you share your thoughts and they have your name and information, they will then relay that information to that individual in which you were talking about. So yeah, don't do that. Don't do that, okay? And then again, I'm coming from someone who was in a hiring capacity and still in a hiring capacity, but you may not know some of the mindset or the things that may hinder you from securing a coding role. You may think it's lack of experience, or lack of whatever, and that may, in some cases, may be very true, but there may be other things that you are lacking, or someone else has communicated about I would say your character, that may prevent you from securing a coding role. So so that's all that I have for today, and thank you for allowing this chat as I make these brownies, and they're looking good, so I'm about to pop them in the oven. So yes, as I think of other soft skills or things that I want to share with you that will help you become successful again in this medical coding industry, I will be sure to drop a video so we can chat. So until next time, happy coding and toodles. Peace.